In Acts chapter 16, the Bible records that Paul and Silas had been imprisoned. Now, the reason why they had been in prison is twofold. Number one, they had been preaching the gospel, but what really got them in trouble is that a slave girl that was demon-possessed, they had set free from the demon. And her owner was absolutely infuriated. And they were thrown into prison, and they were ordered to be imprisoned, and their feet were to be fastened in the stocks. And the next verse in chapter 16 has a very simple declaration of what they're doing. Chapter 16 of Acts, verse 25 says, "And about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the prisoners were listening to them." Paul and Silas in that moment were doing what Paul is teaching here in our passage. They were being abused by the government. They were in the unsanitary, uncomfortable, and unpleasant confines of a first century jail. They were surrounded by others who did not know Jesus, did not care about Jesus, were not concerned for them. But what do? They're not complaining. They don't scream and cry. They're not even demanding justice, even though they have been treated unjustly. What we find them doing in the dark recesses of that smelly prison at midnight was they're singing and praying. They're worshiping. They were worshiping with integrity. In other words, they weren't wasting even that moment. They quite literally had a captive audience. They're worshiping and they're praying with intensity, with purpose. They were worshiping and praying with faithfulness, speaking the truth about God. And they were worshiping to and for the glory of God. God is worthy of declaring His glory when things are going well. And God is worthy of declaring His glory when everything falls apart. So whether you're sitting in the comfortableness of a pew or fastened in stocks in the darkness of a first century prison, God is worthy of all glory and all worship. Oh, dear friends, let the church worship. Be a part of the church's worship.